Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Chess Advanced, and this is the finals of the playoffs. This is the third game. This is Fabi versus Wesley. Fabi has to win to force Armageddon to get that top spot, and Wesley only needs a draw to be able to win the entire Sinquefield Cup. And even though he wins it, he might not be able to qualify for the GCT finals. But again, if he wins this, that's going to show absolute class because he beat today Nordebek, he beat Prague, and if he's able to beat or draw against Fabi, I mean he's just going to be classified as an absolute beast here. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Let's see what with the black pieces, what Wesley has to do here. Knight to f3 was played by Fabi here, going for the ready opening. We have d5, c4, and d6, just going for the Agincourt defense. We have g3, knight to f6, bishop to g2, and bishop to e7. We have castles, d3, c5, and now finally going for this knight to e5. Knight to e5 is definitely a preparation by Fabi. You're gonna know what I mean, because here queen to c7 attacking, and now comes f4. He's not just preparing f4, he's preparing g4 as well, trying to go g5 and push all the way. Fabi really needs a win in this position. Rook to a8 now, knight to c3, but just a6. Now here he's definitely just preparing to push on the queen side. Queen to e1, but just b5. But now comes g4. Fabi is ready for a fight, and Fabi is this is like shades of 2014 where Fabi got that 7-0 score. He is definitely here to crush Wesley So, but just b4 now, and here knight to a4. But in blitz, I mean Wesley So is an absolute beast. I think he's ranked top. I think he's top 4 in blitz in the world ranking. So that's crazy. Bishop to b7, but now just comes the c captures, bishop captures, and with a move like that, I mean you have to understand that you're just making that d3 pawn a little bit weak. It looks amazing. I mean, if you think about it, that looks really good, but it's not the best move. So here Fabi in this position decided to go for bishop captures, e captures, and just g5, trying to destabilize that knight and asking obviously where are you going to be putting that knight. But just knight f to d7, we have knight to g4. This knight is going to be a beautiful piece. If you're able to get this bishop right along this diagonal, get the queen in, there could be some sacrificing ideas to be able to win the game right on the spot. But here just knight to c6, not allowing any of that. But now just comes bishop to e3, just developing that bishop to d6 now, and there is some pressure on this pawn. Rook can join in, you have to be very careful. But now just comes this rook to c1, and now again just putting some pressure on the weak backwards pawn, and there are a lot of pressure. There is a lot of pressure, so you have to be very careful. Rook to e8, but queen to f2, and now just piling up on that pressure. You might just want to be careful. Either you push it or either you save it. It's depending upon Wesley's mindset right now, because either you could just push for the win here, or you could just go for a draw and play a passive position and keep on defending. But in blitz, when you're defending, you might make some blunders and you just could lose the game. So you have to be very careful, and you have to decide your next steps very wisely here. But just d4 was played, and now where are you putting the bishop? Bishop d2 was played, but just knight to e7, and now you have to be very careful with a move like here bishop caps on b4. It still works out, because you have to understand you cannot capture because of this pin. But queen to c6, and now there is some pressure, so you play b3. But now just comes this knight, and now now that knight is very amazing. You have to understand you're never going to be able to push e4 now. E4 is a crucial thrust. Why e4 is a crucial thrust? Because here d4 pawn is controlling a lot of squares, and if you want to be able to get the rooks into the game, if you want to be able to push it all the way, if you want the bishop to be in this diagonal somewhere along the line, e4 is a crucial thrust which is required. Also, if this knight ever jumps in and you don't have that much control over the d3 e3 square, so you're just going to be completely lost. So that's why that is very important. But here after knight to e7, we have e4 right away. Fabi is like, I don't care about pawns, bro. You keep the pawns. I want the game. We have d captures now en passant. We have knight captures, knight to c6, but now just comes this knight to f5. This knight to f5 is a beautiful move, attacking the bishop. And now what do? Bishop to f8. Beautiful defensive resource by Wesley. I mean, you don't see games like this where you just, I mean, you don't even get into a mindset like this, because that bishop was doing so much good here, and you get into a f8. But that f8 is absolutely amazing. When you see these pawns, you understand what I mean. Now bishop to e3, but just rook a to d8. We have b3, queen to a5. Now queen to a5 might seem like a bad move, because queen was doing absolutely fine on this diagonal. Why push it to a square when the queen is not going to be doing that very much? And also b3 has already been played, so there is no actual thing where you have to be worried about. But I guess you do, because there is a lot of pressure, I told you, but white can anytime capture that pawn. And again, it's just a very very difficult position. But trying to find the best moves in this position is not about trying to find the best moves, it's about trying to trick your opponents into them thinking that you have played the best move. So now the ball is in Fabi's court. He has to decide what he has to do. Either just get the knight back and push those pawns, and he goes for it. Knight to g3. We have queen to b5, but now just comes rook f to d1, and we have knight to b6. So you could trade, or you could allow your pawn structure to be ruined. And I mean, Wesley is going to absolutely enjoy this, because pushing those pawns all the way, trying to get them to become pass pawns, is absolutely what he wants. We have knight captures on b6, queen captures, bishop captures on c5, finally grabbing that, bishop captures. And now after rook captures, now we get this position where rook to c4 was played. Rook to c4 is a very brilliant Fabi move. Why is it a Fabi move? This rook lift just shows absolute class, and that's what Fabi is. And here, only thing that can beat class is a perfect spectacular play, and that's what Wesley can do in blitz. Because in blitz, Wesley is 2800 rated. Yes, you heard that right, he is 2800 rated, and Fabi is 2760. So there is still a 40 point or 45-50 point difference, so you have to be very very careful. So knight to e7 was played, very nice resource by Wesley. But now in this position, you have to be very much careful. Do you push f5 right away, or you first play d4? Because here after knight to d5, you're gonna play f5, but after rook f to e8, just controlling this entire square, so you don't allow the knight to jump in anywhere and have any control over any squares. But after rook to e1, you play rook captures, queen captures, and just g6. But g6 might turn out to be a blunder, because here just f6, and I'm just eyeing for those dark square weaknesses. And most likely there is a very high chance that you could get mated. So again, you have to be very very careful in deciding what you have to do. After knight to e7, f5 was played by Fabi. Immediately he's going for the kill, he wants this win. Knight to d5 was played, but now after knight to e4, we have knight to c3, but knight captures, pawn captures, rook captures, and now just knight to d5. And here we have d4, just going for this queen to d7, rook to f3, and now just going for this rook to d8. So again, you have to be very very careful in order to understand what to do in this position. There is a lot of pressure here. So either you defend with rook to f4, that's exactly what Fabi does. He puts the ball on Wesley's court. He's asking like, what are you going to do? Somewhere along the line, I'm going to push these pawns and I'm going to start an attack. Do you have what it takes? And Wesley is like, yes I do. Hey, just a5, and now just h4, but just a4, just trying to find moves. But here just a captures, king to f8, and now comes this rook e to e4. We have rook to a8, rook to f3, and now just going for this rook to d8. Both players trying to get some time on the clocks. Both players are like 5 seconds on the clock. Rook f to f4 was played. We have rook to e8. Now there are going to be some checking ideas, so just king to g2, a nice prophylactic move, but queen to b7, and this looks very very scary. You have to be very very careful. And the only move in this position that wins the game, rightfully so for Fabi, is queen to f3. Queen to f3, with the idea that whenever this comes, wherever this rook moves, you're not going to be in a pin. Because here after rook to a3, rook to a3 is an absolute blunder, by the way. I mean, you could go for a check and maybe just king goes away, and you're just going to become in a completely losing position, because you're up 2 pawns. You should be winning this. Because here after g6, now there is h captures. If you go for h captures, you just completely lost, because here after f captures, f6, and now it's a mate. And actually 3 rook captures, g captures, queen captures, and this would be checkmate. But obviously you're not going to go for a move like actually rook to a3, but you have to understand that this position is very very insane. So if you ever go for a move like this is just completely winning right on the spot. Because even if you play a move like h6, not allowing any trades to happen, now I bust open the position with f6. Now whatever you do, I'm trading either way, and the position is very very amazing. And yeah, most likely you're getting checkmated. But you could also go for this check and annoy me a little bit, but other than that, the position is very very good for Fabi, and most likely he would have won the game if he had played this move. But here after queen to b7, queen to e3, and there is a difference now. There is a difference now, and you have to understand this. Rook to b5 was played, but here just rook to f3, and now just comes rook caps on b3, and now you cannot actually go for this trade. This is the annoying part about it. Queen caps on b3 was played, but just queen caps on e4, and this is pinned. King needs to move. There are some background weaknesses as well. I mean, this is sad that Wesley was not able to convert this to a win, and only a minor difference which made all the difference. Queen to b4 check, king to g8, king to g3, rook to d8, and after f6, still here trying to go for the win. But after g captures, queen caps on d4. Now finally going for this queen to a5, trying to go for this and maybe just trying to get that checkmate in. But now just comes h6, not allowing the queen to infiltrate with that square. King to g2, but this king to h8. Now just queen to h5, rook to g8 check, king to h3, queen to d7, and now just going for this. And here in this position, both players agreed to a perpetual. And here with this, Wesley So showing incredible resilience, won the Sinquefield Cup with a perfectly amazing score, 5.5 out of 9. And he won in playoffs, beating Prague, beating Nordic today by the first, then beating Prague, and then drawing with Fabi to win the Sinquefield Cup in a spectacular manner. He absolutely deserves this because he has played spectacular chess throughout the Sinquefield Cup. And the way he has been playing, he's just showing what a what really a world class player he is. I mean, amazing play. I mean, he even beat so many players even from the starting of this tournament. Then in the final day, to win on demand against no player of Nordic's caliber, and then to go on to beat Prague in Blitz. I mean, and then drawing in such a position against Fabi, really hats off. Amazing play by Wesley, and he really deserves every bit of this.